It was a beautiful clear day in Rome, Italy. A railway company called Zanetti was running a promotion for their new luxury train. 100 passengers would get to ride for free on the beautiful new steam engine. With this promotion, they hoped the passengers would share their experiences and draw people to the train and get a lot of business. It was advertised as being the future of luxury travel. Passengers would enjoy free food and alcohol while traveling, and get to see the beautiful Lombardy mountains while on their ride. The train would be going through the Lombardi Tunnel. At a half-mile long, the Lombardi Tunnel was the longest tunnel in Europe at the time. The train took off from the station with 100 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Everything was going great, and the passengers were enjoying their food and drink while watching the beautiful scenery go by. Then the train entered the tunnel. Onlookers at the other side of the tunnel waited to see the train emerge from the tunnel, but it didn't. Assuming the train broke down inside the tunnel, personnel went in to investigate. They checked everywhere inside, but there was no sign of the train, or of the train even being there at all. Authorities were also called to help with the investigation. They continued to search the area, very confused as to what happened. A train doesn't just disappear into thin air. The people waiting at the other side of the tunnel were questioned. They all swore there was no way they missed the train coming through the tunnel, and that it definitely never came out. While looking around the tunnel, authorities found 2 passengers in the brush near the tunnel. They were wandering around, looking confused. They were asked what happened. They said that just before the train entered the tunnel, they started to hear a low buzzing sound. The sound got louder as a very dense white fog emerged from the dark tunnel. The white fog began surrounding the train. They said as the other passengers began to panic, they decided to jump from the train. That was all they could remember before waking up near the tunnel. The 2 passengers had later developed anxiety and sleeping disorders, according to a psychologist. They were unable to give any information on what happened to the train, and the case was then closed. Later, during World War II, the tunnel was bombed and destroyed. But the strange story doesn't end there. There were reports that may be connected to the disappearance of the Zanetti train. Writings from a monk in Modena, Italy from the 1600s spoke of a giant tube that was made of metal and had people inside it wearing strange-looking clothes. In 1845, a psychiatrist in Mexico reported that there were 104 Italian people who were dressed strange and were acting very confused and lost. They told him they came from Rome on a train. One of the men had a box used to hold tobacco. It had the year 1907 engraved on it. The box is on display in Mexico to this day. Then, in 1955, a vintage train with 3 cars was spotted in the small town of Zanetti, Ukraine. One of the workers that saw it said the train hit a few chickens and didn't make any sound. Also in 1955, a strange train with passengers wearing old-fashioned clothes was seen in Pune, India. In 1991, again, an old train was seen in the Ukraine. There are many more reports of an old-fashioned train that is seen moving many times without tracks and sometimes without sound in Germany, Russia, and Bolivia. Could all these sightings be the Zanetti train that disappeared years ago? The case of the Zanetti ghost train and its crew and passengers remains a mystery. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy learning about the cursed paintings of John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer clown. Or
the urban legend of the cannibals in Hummel Park, Nebraska,